This is 3 pile drivers in a row on the Undertaker, and you're calling this a what went right segment. So I have to see this. 3 pile drivers right off the pad. So we just criticized Cody Rhodes for 3 crossroads. But here we are. All right, let's see here. Oh wow. Wow. That was really, and there's 2 more like this?
Mhm.
Wow, that was like Paul Orndorff, pile driver-esque. Wow. Let's go. Oh, Taker's up. Let's do again.
This isn't the undead zombie period of the Undertaker, I should say.
Oh man, that can't. I gotta break that one down. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, I don't know about that one. And this is in the era of like from like a countertop WWE rings, the really hard WrestleMania 3 ones. Oh man. I mean, what do you think about that one? First one was about his tech play, but it looks like that caught him a bit.
I know this is poor quality. I'm sorry I couldn't find a better one. You can definitely see the Undertaker's pixelated face sort of like being turned upwards, so maybe he did get caught with that
I
one.
think from here you can see it. You know what I think happened? There is a what went wrong to this.
Mhm.
Let me get, can you guess what it is? I'll zoom in just a little bit. What's the what went wrong?
Is it Ultimate Warrior pinching his legs in, maybe?
No, Ultimate Warrior let him go.
Ah.
You really need like the body. That's why it looks like Taker's head hit on the second one because the first one he held on longer. This one he lets go. See? He should have a grip even after right up until the bounce over. So I think he got pogo sticked on that one. His arms are protecting him a little bit, but Taker, I think he hit the mat because that grip around the stomach is what makes you stay chest to back, like right here, chest to back, stay down, boom, and then you literally. I'm gonna switch to me right here so you can see James. So basically, hold him there. He comes up, down, let go, and kind of toss him to the side. That you gotta. It's better to hold on longer than let go too early. So let's see the third one here. Here's the third one. Oh, he stuffed him on that one. I don't know if this is these look great. Camera angle, God. See how he lets go too early? You can see it right there. Why is Ultimate Warrior laying back off the pile driver? It's okay, but your job there is to keep your chest against his back, hold on around his waist, and then when he's done, throw him off to the side. First one was fine, but the next two, pretty stiff. So I think this is a mix between what went right and what went wrong. Because this one he definitely did. Let's go back to the first one. No, he let him go there. But look, Warrior's knees are up. His knees are slightly up on this. The other two, his knees are completely flat. That was the Kevin Owens, Randy Orton thing where he bent his knees to protect his head. I would say all 3 of these are pretty stiff. So for Taker to not sell these, I'm sure he felt like, oh man, I got a little bit of a headache after this.
You got me, brother.
Now, if I were Taker, this is what Hulk Hogan was trying to say Taker did to him. If I was Taker, I'd be like, call my wife and kids. I'm done. Those were 3 pretty stiff. They now textbook pile drivers that looked real because they were. Ultimate Warrior doesn't get enough credit for knowing how to do more than what kept him in the dance, what brought him to the dance and kept him a main eventer. Like Hogan. Why did Hogan only need to do punches, big boot, maybe an elbow, a couple elbows? He did some belly to backs, but mostly it was punches, body slams, big boot, leg drop. That's all it was. He was a brawler. But I put Hogan and Warrior, since Warrior went over on Hogan, WrestleMania 6. There's never been two guys, I'd throw Savage in there as well, but essentially these two guys, they epitomize big fight feel, big event feel, big match feel. And that's why. That you could say, why they don't know how to work, they don't do this. Listen, how many people drew as much as Hogan, Savage, and the Warrior? Not many. They did less than most of these New Japan guys. We talked about New Japan earlier, and in the full episode, episode 28. Okay, Kenny Omega can do a ton of new moves or moves we never heard of. He's the wrestling machine. The wrestling machine doesn't make little kids want to be like him. They want to be larger than life. Kenny Omega is one of the most athletic guys I've ever seen. I really admire his work in the ring. But a drawing power? No, you're not going to get The Rock, Austin, Taker, Warrior, Savage, Hogan. Those guys are still drawing money. The guys who are Warrior and Savage to some degree are making WWE money and they're not even alive. That's being over.
Mhm. With the pile drivers again, one thing I appreciate, and I think you're right, I think I was so beguiled by the fact that Ultimate Warrior dropped a really good looking pile driver that I hadn't really considered that it was actually just
good
pile
looking.
driving period.
It was really good looking.
Hey, yeah. But there's a way that I love a pile driver to be executed, and that is instead of falling back and sitting back, it's almost kicking your own legs out and dropping straight down. And they look the most impactful, and apparently they are. One thing I wanted to ask you about is, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, is the reason why you want to hold the waist all the way down on the pile driver until you throw them to the side is because with the way the Undertaker was landing, I don't know if you can get the video back up, but on the second pile drive that Ultimate Warrior drops with Undertaker, there's a bit where Undertaker's almost doing like a yoga pose in between. Maybe it's the third one. I'm sorry, like a yoga pose. Is this it? Here we go. There. Where he's also doing like a downward dog kind of thing. Now, am I right in saying that the reason you want to continue holding the waist is to stop the wrong angle of the Undertaker where he is now? Because like if he's leaning towards his own feet, that leaves less room for his neck to bend.
I think what Taker might have been trying to do was literally stand up off of this maybe. But it just didn't have the, that's just me guessing because he came down and put his feet right down to do that. Or was Taker looking to stay there like he got stuffed? Like you think you're there for 10 seconds, but you're only there for like 2. You know what I mean? And then Warrior does kick him over afterwards. You have to hold on to the waist. You're the person, Warrior is responsible for Taker's head not hitting. Taker has his arms around the back of his knees to try to have his hand. I've always been a little scared about that, of breaking your forearm, your elbow gets jacked or your wrist gets bent up underneath. That's why I like the package pile driver better. Owens has you. And still, it's really, really close, right? I thought, he protected him. Then I looked at Cody and I was like, ooh, that was damn close. Like, and Cody doesn't have long hair. The thing with Taker with long hair, he could have had this much room and not hit his head. He could have literally been on top of his knees and looked like he hit. But it's Warrior's responsibility. And any wrestlers out there that are watching, and if you listen, I don't care if you're squeezing my stomach to the point where you're taking the air out of my system. Like hook me and make it as tight, chest to back, right there, and just do it. That's kind of why the tombstone, in a way, is safer than a standard pile driver because Taker, especially with long hair, your face is right in his crotch. He's got you here. In other words, Taker never let anybody go on the way down. He only boom, then kind of threw the guy away from him. That's a much safer, more terrifying in a way, but dare I say it, I mean, being upside down one way or the other and trusting somebody's knees or butt or legs to come down first while they grip you in a bear hug, That's the most amount of trust you can have in anybody.
I should say at the end of this segment, this sequence, the Undertaker tries to sit up off after the third pile driver and he doesn't. So Warrior goes for the splash, and then somehow Undertaker gets him in a choke slam kind of thing, and then rises up anyway. So it's not just a new phenomenon of not selling finishes or, you know, big moves or anything like that. But at least for the Undertaker's character, it works because he's an undead zombie and he was going for the WWF title very soon after this, I believe. I think this is 91.
Here's the weird thing about this. He was trying to catch him in a choke slam with his left hand, right? See how it comes up? That's a miscommunication, maybe. Because Taker should have been, as we're looking at this, Taker's head should have been that way, right?
Mm.
To reach up with the right instead of the left. I think he was just on the wrong side. Because, like, basically, if you come back to me, if I'm laying like this and Warrior's going that way, my head's got to go this way, meaning Taker the opposite way, grab him like that. He was trying to do this. So that would look like a miscommunication between both of them of which side. And I don't think there was enough room for Warrior to run to the other side. But then again, you're not really jumping. So, like, even if you just did that and looked like you're about to, but stayed on your feet and kind of bent down to take the choke slam, you know?
Mm. So there you go then. I just wanted to say, the person who I always remember doing the worst pile driver, he was like a mainstream star, was Crush. Because he'd always put one hand down. And he always thought that was so weird. And he could never balance the guy either.
Crush always seemed to want to do the Jim Duggan bump, you know, on the hip or something. You ever notice? You know, I think there's an underrated pile driver, and it's not your favorite as a worker because you get wedgied, is Mick Foley.
Yeah, the stump puller.
Just stuffing you like that. He gave that, I think he gave me the double underhook, and he gave Raven in the TNA Final Resolution match, myself and Raven against Mick Foley and Abyss. Fun match. We loved doing it. But he gave Raven the wedgie pile driver, which I always thought had more, here's the term, stink on it. Like you're just grabbing a guy and just jamming. And that was like, it's almost like the way Dean Ambrose does the double underhook. Just stuffing a guy. I can appreciate that.
Do you know who else also had a really good... It probably hurt. Sandman. Because I was like, you know, the hanging pile driver, either the stalling pile driver where he'd, you know, show someone do all four sides and then drop them. I always thought that looked really good.
Yeah, I think he did it for real. He gave me a couple of those. There's not much Sandman did that was right there. We got it still. I got to bring it up from ECW Unreleased Volume 3 where Sandman broke my nose on the lockup during that Hell show in Asbury Park. That's a good what went wrong.
Yeah. We need to do that. Have you got the footage for that?
Yeah, I got it on DVD right here, along with me saying kick-ass torrents. Go to kick-ass torrents, everybody, on the on the extra. No! Next, they kept it in there.
Hey, there you go. Right, we will shut it down there. So this is a bit of an exclusive, not in the shows. This is a YouTube exclusive. If you want more exclusive stuff from Stevie Richards, go to go to patreon.com/Stevie Richards. Links are in the description. So we'll see you again for the next video, whenever that may be.